Well, hello, my viewers out there, and welcome back to my channel called Sebastian's Movie Game Time. I'm your host, Sebastian, and today I'm going to talk about three classic movies that I talked about three other classic movies before a couple of times. So let's get. I'm gonna get straight down to it. First off, let's start off with one of these classic movies is American Graffiti. American Graffiti is a coming of age teen movie directed by George Lucas. I think before he did the first Star Wars movie or after he did the first Star Wars movie. I'm not really sure.
Really? Star Wars?
But it's directed by George Lucas, American Graffiti. It stars Ronnie Howard before he came to change his name to Ron Howard, Richard Dreyfuss, Charles Martin Smith, Charles Phil Lamont, and believe it or not, Harrison Ford is in American Graffiti. That's right, before he was an icon, Indiana Jones, and other movie star icon that he is today. Harrison Ford appears in American Graffiti movie. He's very young too, so it's good. It was cool to see Harrison Ford in a classic movie like that, and George Lucas again, because George Lucas cast him as Han Solo in his Star Wars movies afterwards. So that's when they first met. So I give American Graffiti 3 out of 3 stars, and the soundtrack is a knockout CD or a vinyl. If you get the soundtrack to American Graffiti, there are a lot of great songs from the 60s and early 50s, because the story in the movie takes place like in the late 50s and early 60s. But there are a lot of great music songs, and I could list off some of the songs from the soundtracks that I like. Runaway by Dale Shannon, Surfin' Safari, The Beach Boys, Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs, what else? Almost Grown by Chuck Berry, and other great music songs that are featured in the film. They're just great songs from that time period, the 60s. So I recommend you watch it and check it out. You'll have a good time watching it. The second classic movie I really like is A Bridge Too Far. Now, in the 60s and 70s, there were a lot of classic World War II movies with big ensemble cast stars. And even today, if you want an action movie today with big star names, it's hardly impossible to pull off that kind of movies nowadays with big name stars. It's hard nowadays. But back in the 60s and 70s, because since there were classic movie actors of that time period's decade, they all appeared in World War II action movies, like the Longest Day. It stars John Wayne, Robert Mitchum. Battle Britain, starring Christopher Plummer. What else? How the West Was Won. It's It's a classic western movie with George Papard, Gregory Peck, James Stewart. What else? And A Bridge Too Far is one of those ensemble cast stars. It stars Elliot Gould, who was in Ocean's 11 movies, Anthony Hopkins, a young Anthony Hopkins before he became as Hannibal Lecter icon that we all know and like his movies and his future career. So he appears in it. He's very young. He has a mustache. James Caan of The Godfather, the first Godfather movie and the Misery movie, he's in it. Robert Redford, before he became a director, and he's like a well-known actor. Gene Hackman, before he retired. Gene Hackman was very young in that film. And least but not Michael Caine, before he became who he is today, Sir Michael Caine. And finally, there's Sean Connery. That's right, Sean Connery, before or after the first Bond movie.
James Bond.
Yep, Sean Connery appears in A Bridge Too Far. There are a lot of great memorable moment scenes of action. The action scenes are very well photographed. The cinematography is very, The cinematography and the action scenes are shot beautifully, classical done. You know, it's a great based on a true story World War II movie. And the film A Bridge Too Far is directed by Richard Attenborough. You should know the name Richard Attenborough because not only he's a director, but he played a character in this big Spielberg movie hit called Jurassic Park. And then in Jurassic Park movie, Richard Attenborough plays the character of John Hammond, who runs the Jurassic Park.
To Jurassic Park.
And invites the main characters to come and visit his park that he's building. So, yes, but Richard Attenborough, he's a director, apparently. I'm sure you didn't know that. So he directed Bridge Too Far. So it's a great World War II classic movie. I give it 3 out of 3 stars because it's timeless, great ensemble cast, just great. And we come to the third and final classic movie that I want to talk about is Meet Me in St. Louis. Now, you all know what I said before. I didn't like Wizard of Oz. I didn't care for it. It's not my kind of movie. And I know Judy Garland, you know, was in Wizard of Oz. But in this movie, Meet Me in St. Louis, this is another Judy Garland movie. Now, if you ask me, but I know what you're gonna say. Like, yeah, but you didn't like Judy Garland in Wizard of Oz, and you like Judy Garland in this movie, Meet Me in St. Louis. Well, because Meet Me in St. Louis, it's a very beautiful movie. It's a daring classic movie. All the costume, the production, set design, the costume outfits are so beautiful and timeless to look at and watch. And one of the most famous scenes in the Meet Me in St. Louis movie is the trolley theme song. Julie Garland's character gets on board the trolley with everybody else on it, and there's a song that everybody on board the trolley starts singing, and it's called the Trolley Song. If you never heard that song, if you never heard the song, go on YouTube and type in the Trolley Song, Meet Me in St. Louis, and you're gonna hear the song that's playing that the film is mostly known for. But that's the most iconic scene from that movie. If you never seen me
Clang went the trolley, ding ding.
Meet Me in St. Louis, I know all of you like Judy Garland, prefer her Wizard of Oz, and that's good. That's fine. But I like Judy Garland more in this movie, Meet Me in St. Louis. It's a very colorful movie. I highly recommend it. I give it 3 out of 3 stars because it's a timeless film again. Okay, so now we're done with the 3 classic movies I mentioned. Now we're going to talk about the Netflix films that I've seen. And I threw in a little one like a movie. There were 2 movies I saw from HBO Max. Well, it's called Max now, but I've seen 2 movies from that. And there's 2 movies I saw on Prime Video. So, here we go. I want to start out with the Netflix films first. So, the first Netflix film to start off with I want to talk about, it's The Gray Man. The Gray Man is directed by the Russo brothers, who directed Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, The Winter Soldier, Captain America, you know, also the Russo brothers. They did this movie called The Gray Man. It stars Ryan Reynolds. No, is it? No, I'm sorry. Not Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Gosling. Yeah. Chris Evans, Billy Bob Thornton, and Ana de Armas. It's I wouldn't say it was a great Russo brothers action movie, not like the Avengers Marvels that they both did, but it's pretty watchable spy action thriller movie. Chris Evans plays a villain baddie in it, and Ryan Gosling's character, you know, tries to, you know, has to stop him. So, if you haven't seen this movie called The Gray Man, I'm thinking all of you may like it, but to me, I give it 2 out of 3 stars. So, but the action was good in it too, and the spy elements was great. So, okay, now we move on to the second Netflix movie called A Marriage Story. It stars Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. When I saw Marriage Story, well, A Marriage Story, it deals with 2 married couples who are trying to share a child custody battle, who will get the the child 1 week, and the other will get it for another week. It's very depressing, hard movie. So I give it 2 out of 3 stars because it's a very depressing movie. It's hard to watch if you don't know what child custody battle is. You know what? I'm sure all of you out there have been through child custody battles, and you know how difficult, hard it is, and it's rough, it's challenging, it's difficult. It really is a hard subject matter. So it's one of those movies I see once in a lifetime because it's just so depressing. You know what kind of remind me of? It kind of reminded me of this classic movie with Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep from the 70s called Kramer versus Kramer. That's where there's some elements to that. And there's another element too of Before Marriage Story was back in early 2000s called The Next Big Thing. That stars Madonna and Rupert Everett. That one is the same thing too. Child custody sharing with with between two people, and another hard subject matter, but yeah. So given when I tell you what this Marriage Stories movie's about, I'm sure all of you don't want it, or some of you want to see it and some of you don't want to see it, and that's fine. um it's a one-time watch for me, like I said. So um next up we have Army of Thieves. Army of Thieves is a prequel to Army of the Dead. The zombie apocalypse in Vegas with Dave Bautista and directed by Zack Snyder. Um, I like Army of Thieves. I give Army of Thieves 3 out of 3 stars. I don't know who stars in Army of Thieves though, but if it is, I probably don't recognize any cast stars in it. But I really like Army of Thieves, so I give it 3 out of 3 stars. So it's a good prequel. If you like Army of the Dead, I think you'll enjoy the prequel. But now we move on to Army of the Dead, starring Dave Bautista and directed by Zack Snyder. Um, I give Army of the Dead 2 out of 3 stars. I like the zombie action moments in it. Um, it was a pretty decent little movie. I mean, so also we have The Power of the Dog. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Kristen Dunst. It's a very complex, hard movie story not to understand and follow. So I gave it 2 out of 3 stars because the story's very complex, and I just didn't get what the entire story plot, what the film's about. It's very complex. Um, I had a starting idea what that movie's about, The Power of the Dog. So for me, I give it 2 out of 3 stars. So, but I'm thinking some of you may like it. So we also have The Highwayman. The Highwayman. It stars Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson. It's a film that deals like a lawman in the early 30s, and his task is to shoot and kill the notorious lovers of Bonnie and Clyde. It's based on a true story. It's a pretty okay movie. I like the period piece setting story that takes place like in that time in the 30s. So Karen Costner was pretty good. Woody Harrelson was good as well. So yeah, I give it 2 out of 3 stars. So we have Night Tease. Um, I know a couple people in Night Tease. Like Megan Fox appears in it, and Sydney Sweeney appears in it. It's a vampire movie that's on Netflix, 90s, and it's about an Uber driver who picks up 2 beautiful teenage girls that he doesn't know that the 2 teen girls that he picks up as an Uber driver that he picks them up, they're actually like vampires, and it's set like in a vampire world, like a John Wick world, vampires world kind of thing, but without the John Wick stuff. It deals all vampires, the living the life that they wanted, drinking from bloods and living forever. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. 90s. Like I said, Megan Fox is not in it all the way. It's like a 10 or 15 minute screen time, and along with Sydney Sweeney has a small screen time in it too. I don't know who the main stars is in 90s, but I give it 2 out of 3 stars. Um, we have Fair Street. Fear Street, it's by R.L. Stine, the creator author of the Goosebumps books, and there are free. They're like free Fear Street movies. One is Part One, 1994, which just takes place in the 90s. That's my favorite one. I give Fear Street Part 1, 94, 1994, 3 out of 3 stars. I like that one a lot because it said like in the 90s. And the second Fear Street movie, Chapter 2 Fear Street, takes place in 1974. And it shows like it's set in the 70s time period slasher genre. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. And the third one, called Fear Street Part 3, 666, it's a time period where witchcraft were being accused, women who are being accused of witchcraft and burn at stakes and being hung from trees. It was a time where it was so scary for women back in that period days. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. But actually, the Fear Street Part 3, 666 one, it it ties in with Fear Street Part 1 and it ties in with Fear Street Part 2. So it's like all 3 films circle around each other and, well, it's a completed film. So, yeah. But, and there's also Tick Tick Boom, starring Andrew Garfield. I like Tick Tick Boom. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. Andrew Garfield plays like a stage play writer, and later on, he's the reason why we have that Broadway show. What was it, Rent? He's the one who created that Broadway musical show, Rent. So it's a very good true story, Tick Tick Boom. Andrew Garfield was good in it, so I'll give it 3 out of 3 stars. Don't Look Up. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Timothée Chalamet, Jennifer Lawrence, Jonah Hill, Meryl Streep, Tyler Perry. It was I give it 2 out of 3 stars, but it's kind of a little bizarre movie to watch actually. Yeah, it was a pretty okay movie. Don't Look Up. I can't mention some of my big stars in this movie, but yeah, it's pretty decent. I give it 2 out of 3 stars, like I said. We also have Clinical, starring Vanessa Shaw, or however you pronounce her name. She was the love interest of the brother character from the first Hocus Pocus movie. And then she also popped up in 2 movies. She appeared in Eyes Wide Shut. She has a small part in Eyes Wide Shut. She plays a prostitute who meets Tom Cruise's character. And then she also appeared in the remake of the first Hills of Ice remake film. She's the mother character with the child, in that film. So, but I enjoy Clinical. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. It's a really good movie. I really like it. It's a good psychological thriller movie. Yeah. So, and there's also a movie called Oxygen. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. It's a psychological thriller space science fiction movie starring Melanie Laurent from Inglourious Basterds. It's a pretty okay movie. Oxygen. It's about a woman who wakes up in space, in a spaceship flying in the sky, and she's stuck in the oxygen. I don't know what they call it, like an oxygen bedding or whatever they call it, like pods or like as an oxygen pods or something that they put you into sleep in. I don't know, but I give it 2 out of 3 stars. Oxygen. It's really claustrophobic at times if you're afraid of tight spaces, and so there's also the Old Guard. The Old Guard. There we go. It stars Charlize Theron as an action movie. Again, I give it 2 out of 3 stars, but it's good to see Charlize Theron in action again. She was good, but I thought it couldn't be much better. So 2 out of 3 stars for the Old Guard. Manhunt, directed by John Woo. I don't know who stars in John Woo's Manhunt movie, but I give it 2 out of 3 stars. But I enjoy the action scenes because it's John Woo, and you have to like John Woo's action scenes. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. Can you hold on for a second, please? Sorry about that, guys. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, John Woo's Manhunt. Yes. Well, like I said, I enjoy the slow motion action scenes because it's John Woo and his style of action. You know how he works his action magic. A lot of people say to me, if I ever, I can imagine, I bet myself and everybody else out there is like, how does John Woo come up with such crazy over the top action scenes?
But how?
How does he come up with them? How does he do it? Does he map it out in his head? He's like, okay, in this scene, in this action scene, I want to do this, and that, and it's like, how does he come up with this insane, crazy action over top scenes? And I tell myself, we will never know the answer of how John Woo makes his action scenes in his movies, because like a magician always says, a true magician or professional, or wasn't it a true magician always says, sorry, a magician always says a magician never reveals his secret. That means a magician can't tell audiences how he does his work things. He just does it. That's all you need to know. And John Woo is a master of that, so I appreciate all the action films I've seen in his action films in the past, and yeah. So I give it 2 out of 3 stars. John Woo's Manhunt, and it's a film called Dark. I'm not sure you never heard about it. It's not on Netflix anymore. I don't know why. Netflix kind of removed it from their. I don't know why. It's called Dark. It came out in 2018. It's about an undercover, I don't know, like cop or agent, and
I am an FBI agent!
he infiltrates the Yakuza clan, and it's a pretty okay movie. I like the action. I like the climax ending of that Dark film because it's very graphic, brutal. It gets all the crazy. We get to the action, crazy stuff at the ending climax. So that's actually the best thing about it. So I'll give it 2 out of 3 stars. There's one called the Ritual. It's about four guys backpacking, walking through the woods in some New England countryside. They encounter like mysterious cult people. They worship this legendary urban legend monster that they that they give the god and power to. The monster itself in the film, it was very quite interesting. So I gave it 2 out of 3 stars. The Ritual. Like I said, I don't know who stars in it, but it's a pretty okay movie. There's a movie called Close. It stars Naomi Rapace. She's the original woman character and the girl with a dragon tattoo, the Swedish version. She did this movie called Close, and I give it 2 out of 2. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. The action scenes was pretty good, but the ending was like, the ending kind of felt short. It was not that much action. Well, I mean, there were some actions in it, but there was not that much actions. But yeah, it is what it is. So I give it 2 out of 3 stars. There's another action movie called Lou. It stars Academy Award winner Allison Janney. What's her name? Allison Janney? Yeah, or Janney? Yeah. She played Tanner Harding's mother character in the I, Tonya movie. The one's Margot Robbie. She plays his character Lou. That's what the Netflix movie is called. Luke. It's based on her character's name. She's like, and I had no idea, because I thought Allison Janney, she's known for comedy movies and stuff. I had no idea that she'll become like a tough badass, older woman character type of person. She was badass. I mean, she was great. It was good for her to do something different. So, yeah, I give her 2 out of 2 stars. Lou. We have The Weekend Away, starring Lake Team Master, formerly a former Gospel Girl actress, I should say. I really enjoyed The Weekend Away. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. There's like homaging tributes, Allen vibes to it. That's like a 90s mystery movie that there's a vibe tension of that. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3 out of 3 stars. Called The Weekend Away. We have The Irishman. It's a Martin Scorsese movie. So when you see Martin Scorsese, you know who his all-time actor is, right? Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro and Scorsese are like the best collaborating teamwork guys. They are. Everything they do, all the films they've done in the past, just the two of them, it's just great, you know? It really is. Um, the Irishman stars Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. It was great to see Joe Pesci again because I'm not sure all of you don't know about this, but Joe Pesci actually retired. Actually, he did this movie. He did this direct to video movie. I think what came out like in the late 2000s, like 2009 or I don't know. It's called Love Ranch. It stars Helen Mirren. It's a pretty okay movie, Love Ranch. But Joe Pesci's performance in the film was great, and Helen Mirren was good in the film too. And after that movie, Love Ranch was over, Joe Pesci announced that he's retired from acting. But then when Scorsese was making Irishman, he called up Joe Pesci and said, "Do you want? Hi, Joe Pesci. I'm Scorsese. I'm working on this biopic movie called Irishman." And Joe Pesci like so he asked Scorsese brought back Joe Pesci out of retirement just for Pesci to do the Irishman. So it was cool to see Joe Pesci back. But you know how Joe Pesci was in Casino and Goodfellas, the hot-headed, tempered character that he plays in those both movies by Scorsese's. Um, in this movie Irishman, Joe Pesci's character plays like a low back, low voice type of character who doesn't yell and doesn't cuss. He's more of a like on keeping it on the low side. So it was cool to see Joe Pesci come back. It was great. Al Pacino is in a Scorsese movie for the first time. It's cool. Good for Al Pacino. It stars Anna Paquin also, who has about I don't know like 5 dialogue lines halfway through the movie. Um, and there's also Harvey Keitel. Another great Scorsese collaborator is Harvey Keitel. He appears in a small part too, so it was cool to see Harvey. It was good to see all the gangsters: Joe Pesci, Harvey Keitel, Robert De Niro, and Scorsese. All four. No, wait a minute. All four of them: Harvey Keitel, Joe Pesci, De Niro, Scorsese. They're all the best collaborating teamwork guys. They are, and they are true legend when it comes to mafia, great movie stories. So I give it 3 out of 3 stars. Irishman. It's like a 3 hour long movie, but I really quite enjoyed it. It was good to see all four of them back together, team up again for this big epic gangster movie, I should say. Yeah. We have hold on. We have Little Devil. No, I'm sorry. Not Little Devil. Little Evil, starring Adam Scott, I believe, who stars in it, and the actress who plays the Ross in the Ant-Man movies, she's in it too. Um, I give it 2 out of 3 stars. Little Evil. Um, I forgot what the movie's about, but it was kind of like an Omen kind of a vibe. But um, I remember I remember seeing it and I was like, you know what? I'll give it 2 out of 3 stars. But yeah, there's a movie called Kate, starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead, playing a badass action or vigilante woman character. It was cool. She rocks. Woody Harrelson co-stars. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. Kate. Um, like I said, I thought Mary Elizabeth Winstead was quite different in this Kate movie. I mean, she played badass action. That she was great. She really was. Um, I know. I'm sorry, guys. My ice. I'm taking my ice open here. I'm gonna try to finish off. Okay. Um. So yeah, I give Kate 2 out of 3 stars. Um, Red Notice, starring Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. I like the humor, action, comedy stuff in it. So, um, there's a movie called Bird Box, Sandra Bullock. It's a very intense psychological suspense movie about a woman and 2 kids that they put blindfolds on, or they won't become like crazy people. They will harm to others. It's a 2 star I give it 2 out of 3 stars. Sandra Bullock is a good actress, and so we have Extraction starring Chris Hemsworth. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. Extraction. Um, Again, it's a pretty solid action movie. The action scenes was good, and Chris Hemsworth was great as action like ever before. So I give it 2 out of 3 stars. Um, the harder they the harder they fall. It's a western movie starring Regina King, Idris Elba, Johnson Majors, Delroy Lindo. I like The Harder They Fall. I give it 3 out of 3 stars because it's like a western movie. Oh, and I forgot to mention another actor stars in it too. Lakeith Stanfield. He was good too, but oh, I hate him so much in the movie. Oh, but all the cast is good. Regina King plays a a bad villain. Idris Elba is a baddie. Lakeith's character is a villain as well. They were all good together. Johnson Majors and Delroy Lindo. The action, the climax ending shootouts, it's really good. So yeah. Um, Sorry. There's a movie called The Dirt. It's a biograph movie starring Machine Gun Kelly. It tells the story about of this '80s band group called Motley Crue. It was a pretty okay movie. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. Machine Gun Kelly plays the character of Motley Crue lead singer Vince Neil, and it's a biograph of how Motley Crue, their journey into the '80s and their lifestyle was. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. The Five Bloods. Oh, I give that one 3 out of 3 stars. It's a Spike Lee movie. Again, It stars the same two actors who did The Harder They Fall. Delroy Lindo, Johnson Majors. They team up again in The Five Bloods. But Spike Lee's movie, The Five Bloods, it's a very powerful, strong movie, war movie. There are some actions in it, but Delroy Lindo, because Delroy Lindo has popped up in supporting character roles in past movies, and he's great. But I'm thinking I read that Spike Lee wrote this movie, The Five Bloods, specifically for Delroy Lindo to play the lead character, and boy, Delroy Lindo's performance in the movie, he carried the movie weight on his shoulders. He really gave a powerful performance and strong as well. And the cast stars and the rest of the cast star members are oh, I'm sorry. Another cast star member I forgot to mention that's in The Five Bloods is Chadwick Boseman. He appears and he appears in it, so it's great to see Chadwick Boseman, before his passing, and it's very sad to this day. So yeah, it's a good movie, The Five Bloods. Um, we have The Babysitter, starring Samar Raving. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. The Babysitter is about a younger teenage boy who's been babysitted by his parents. Hired a babysitter to watch him when the parents are gone, and the babysitter, you may think that she's a babysitter, but she's not your typical babysitter. She's a satanic cult, and she invites her friends over to the main teenager boy's house, and they plan to sacrifice him so they can live an immortal charity life. Um, so it's a pretty delightful movie. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. And then we have the sequel, and I was like, a sequel, the Babysitter sequel, but I thought the first one was pretty okay. So okay, I'll watch the second one, and all my and the teenager boy from the first Babysitter movie, he comes back, but he's much older now, in the second Babysitter movie called The Babysitter Killer Queen, and it was good to see the main teenager boy come back, and and there's a twist. I can't give away. I can't give away and tell you who's the baddie villain in the Babysitter second movie. I can't tell you because that'll be give away spoilers. But who's in it? The Babysitter Killer Queen. Jenna Ortega's in it. So I was like, oh, Jenna Ortega. I like Jenna Ortega. So it was cool that Jenna Ortega is in the Babysitter, in the sequel of the Babysitter sequel movie. She was great. But like I said, I can't tell you who the baddie villain is in the sequel because that would give away the entire plot and spoiling. And I'm not that kind of person. So I know all of you's never heard about the second Babysitter movie. So I'll leave you at that. But yeah, I actually liked it better than the first Babysitter movie. I give the Babysitter, the second one called Killer Queen, 3 out of 3 stars. So yeah. Um, Mr. Harrigan's Phone. It's based on a short story by Stephen King, I believe. It stars Donald Sutherland. It's about a boy who goes over to an older man's house whose name is Mr. Harrigan, and he passes away, and then he leaves. He has his phone. It's kind of a confusing movie to understand and follow, but I give it 2 out of 3 stars. It was great to see Donald Sutherland in the Netflix movie, and so yeah. There's Glass Onion, a sequel to Knives Out called Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. It's a sequel title called. Daniel Craig is back as Benio Blanc, starring and co-starring Edward Norton, Catherine Hahn, Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista. Um, it was a pretty okay movie. I give it 2 out of 3 stars. Glass Onion, Knives Out. It's not as good as the first Knives Out movie, I'll tell you that. But it was good to see Benio Blanc character back as well. Um, Oh, and there's one more Netflix movie called Six Underground. It's a Michael Bay film starring Ryan Reynolds, Melanie Lauren, and Corey Hawkins. Now I know a lot of you out there are not Michael Bay fans, and that's fine. But I'm a true Michael Bay fan. I appreciate every action film I've seen of his, and he's just great. And because it's a Michael Bay movie, Six Underground, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. Because it's a Michael Bay film, Six Underground, you know there's going to be like over the top, slow motion action scenes and completely ridiculously action scenes. You know there is. But, I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. So I give it 3 out of 3 stars, Six Underground. Let's see. Okay, I believe that's all the Netflix movies. And now we have 2 HBO Max or Max films that I'm going to talk about. And we have 2 Prime Video movies I'm going to talk about right now. So, um, okay, so now we come to Max movie. The Fallout, starring Jenna Ortega and Maddie Ziegler. I like The Fallout. I actually give The Fallout, um, it's kind of hard. I gave it 2 out of 3 stars to Fallout. There were some moment scenes I really thought they were bittersweet and heartfelt, and Jaren Tega was great, and her co-star Maddie Ziegler and the other cast members when I was watching Fallout, I didn't know who was in it. Shailene Woodley of the Divergent movies, Shailene Woodley, and it was cool to see her pop up in a film like this. Okay. I can't tell you what the Fallout movie's about because, well, I'm sure if you look at the Fallout, it's going to tell you the synopsis, what it is about. But all I can tell you is that it's a pretty okay movie. There are some better sweet emotional elements in it, and the performances by the 2 main actresses, Maddie Ziegler and Jenna Ortega, they're just so good, and the chemistry that they both share together, it's just beautiful. And I told myself after watching the movie, if Jenna Ortega and this actress Maddie Ziegler, if they do ever another movie together or a TV show, just these two, I'll be down to see them both acting together again. They just work so good together. Another Max movie is called No Sudden Move. It's the Steven Soderbergh movie, starring Don Cheadle, John Hamm, David Harbour, Benicio del Toro, Bill Duke, Ray Liotta, and Brendan Fraser before he won an Academy Award for his film The Whale. Um, it was great to see Brendan Fraser in a Steven Soderbergh movie. It really is. It's like a neo-noir crime thriller movie, and Bill Duke is in. Oh, I forgot to mention another actor is in it. Bill Duke. Bill Duke. You should know Bill Duke because you should know him from that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called Predator. He's one of the characters that has the big gun that fires that big gun. that spins around. That's Bill Duke apparently. So it's good to see Bill Duke pop up in a movie like this, and it was cool to see him. And apparently he's a director. Apparently, I'm not sure you know that he's a director. Um, so yeah, he's a good character actor, Bill Duke. It was good to see him. Brendan Fraser was fun. It was good to see Ray Liotta and John Hamm, obviously, and all the cast. It's a very good movie. I'll give it 3 out of 3 stars. No sudden move. And now we come to Prime movie films, Prime Video films. One is called no, one is called Nuggerturn, starring Sydney Sweeney, Madison Iseman, and Julie Benz. I give Nuggerturn 3 out of 3 stars because I like Sydney Sweeney. I'm a fan of hers, and it's about two sisters. They're fighting over who's going to score the same composing score piece by this composer that they both obsess over. So it's kind of like a rival story between both sisters. But yeah, it's a I give it 3 out of 3 stars. It's a very good little thriller movie. And finally, we come to the last Prime Video film called The Lie, starring Joey Keane. Um, I never saw The Lie for quite some time. But then my mother, said, "Oh, this is a good movie to lie. You should watch it if you like Joey Keane." And I'm a Joey Keane fan. I like Joey Keane. So I was like, so I finally saw The Lie. Oh, I had no idea the twist. It was one of shocking. It was one of those shocking twist ending. It's one of those shocking twist of at the end of the movie. Like you didn't see coming. You didn't prepare for what was expecting. It really is edge of your seat, climax shocker. Um, I give it 2 out of 3 stars. It was good to see Joey Keane. Like I said, I'm a fan of Joey Keane's, and it was good to see her to do some. It was good to see her to do something like this. Oh, and I forgot to mention those 2 movies I mentioned, Noggerturn and The Lie. They're both they're all both done by Blumhouse Productions. So Prime Video Blumhouse Productions. So yeah. Okay, everybody. Well, that will do it. And thank you. On the next episode of my channel, I'm going to talk about movies that I like from movies that I saw in 2015s, like the ones I did like and the ones that I enjoyed. So, thanks again for watching my episode 10, I believe it's called, this one I'm doing. And I will see all of you at the movies.